what's up? This is Patrick. Welcome to episode 41 of the Double ETF podcast, Everything Except the Football. I hope you guys are doing great. Today, we do the same thing as last time. Same guests, same concept, but with new TV series and new movies. I hope you enjoy. If you want to drop us a review, you can do so wherever you listen to your podcasts. It would be awesome. And thank you to the members of the Awesome Club. You know who you are. If you want to drop us a line, you can do so at eetfpodcast@gmail.com or at eetfpod on Twitter. And that's it. This episode was a lot of fun, lots of laughs, and here we go. Thanks. All right, so welcome back, guys. Welcome to episode 41. What we watched, again, for the last couple weeks. Same concept as last time, and same guests as well, including John Mutford. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me back.
Always a pleasure. And Nick Bambach. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing, Patrick?
Well, I am more sober than last time.
Drunk Patrick, sober Patrick. We like having you either way. So,
well, okay, good. Tonight you will have the other, the opposite end of the spectrum, I guess. You're gonna have nervous and twitchy me. Okay, so we can do like last time. What caught our attention with TV shows and movies over the past couple of weeks. We can start with John. What do you have in mind?
Are we starting with TV shows?
Yes.
Sure. Let's start with Curb Your Enthusiasm, I guess. The 11th season, I believe it was, just finished. The same type of humor is always there, that uncomfortable humor where Larry challenges stuff that sometimes we wish we could all challenge, but then we also see the ramifications of it. So funny as ever. Didn't quite like the ending of the season. Usually there's an arc in Curb Your Enthusiasm that for each season follows through, and they just seem to drop a whole bunch of plot threads at the end. I mean, you're not watching Curb Your Enthusiasm really for the plot, but it did seem like cut off at the end. I don't know if you guys are fans of the show or not.
It's one of my favorite shows, quite honestly. But I think that was from late last year, right? Like it was like October, November 2021, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. They were nominated for some Emmys again.
It's kind of a weird season because like some of the episodes were very, how do I want to say this? They were just not cohesive, or like they didn't fall, like they were just like, like usually they'll have like a overall arch or story in a season, like where he does the producers play or something to that extent. It was kind of weak because wasn't it about the fence, like the pool?
Yeah, so somebody drowned in the pool and they were trying to get the law overturned so they could fire the girl who was blackmailing him with the whole pool thing from the TV show. Yeah, it's dark, right? But that sort of just got left at the cutting room floor at the very end, which I didn't quite get. But
did you like the young Larry storyline?
I didn't mind it. You didn't? You weren't a fan?
Oh, it just seemed funny because now they have like young Sheldon and young Rock and young Larry. So I was kind of like thinking like it's kind of funny because I mean, how he became who he is just probably fascinating in its own right, because I love Larry David. I love Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm. But yeah, it just was, I was kind of like,
I would watch a young Larry show.
Oh, me too.
Okay, so that's Curb Your Enthusiasm. Nick, what about you?
So I've been traveling. I've been so busy with work lately that I haven't been able to watch TV. I've been watching more movies, but one show I am watching is Severance. And I think we talked about that the last time, if I'm not mistaken.
We did. That was one of my picks. I love that one.
Yep.
We're doing that for my TV club that I run, so that's next weekend. But I started watching it today, and I've about 3 episodes in already. Really good. I mean, I think it's very interesting how Ben Stiller uses space and, these characters with the office setting, and it's not a comedy, which I keep telling myself it's not a comedy, even though Adam Scott is in it and John Turturro and Ben Stiller is directing or producing it. So it's just it's very interesting what it's doing, but I'm really intrigued, but I'm not completely done with it yet, but I will probably have it done in the next few days. But it's a very addictive show too. You kind of just want to know what happens.
Yeah, you want to binge it for sure. Yeah. And I will say there will be a few funny moments here and there, but overall, yeah, you're right. It's a drama.
Yeah, I was going to say there are several parts that are more like black comedy, but overall it's a drama. And I followed your recommendation, John, because I watched the entire season in like 2 days, I think.
Oh, and you enjoyed it?
Yes, yeah. I gotta admit, at first I wasn't too sure because, like in the first episode, you could see Patricia Arquette give some shit to Adam Scott, and I was like, "Oh my god! If it's gonna be like some poor office sap getting shot on during the entire season, I'm not interested." But fortunately, it didn't stay that way. Then I got hooked, and I really enjoyed the first season. Yeah.
And it's a show, too, where I didn't know what its tone was going to be for the first episode. So it was a little bit of a struggle, admittedly, that first episode, because it was trying to establish its tone, its style, and all that sort of stuff. So I was sort of not sure where it was going. But once you get in, you're like hooked. And I'm probably going to watch an episode or two tonight.
It takes some very strong left turns along the way, too. Just when you think you know where the story's going, it goes completely in a different direction.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it was one of my recommendations as well. So box checked. So, okay. As for me, and this is in no particular order, so I'm going to start with season 3 of The Boys on Amazon.
That is on my list as well, Pat.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So should we go ahead and do spoilers? I mean, it's been out for a while.
Yeah.
It's been out for a while. Yeah.
Okay. I'd say that I prefer the first 2 seasons more than the third one. I liked each episode individually. I liked each of them fine, but overall, I thought the season was a bit disappointing and the finale was underwhelming. The big showdown turned out to be disappointing, I think, because we are basically back where we started. You know, Soldier Boy is still alive, and something tells me that they are going to bring him back when the story needs it, which is kind of annoying, you know, like it's like everybody has plot armor now. That's the feeling that I'm getting.
Right.
Wait a second. Is his character named Soldier Boy?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because my first thought was the rapper who had the big hit with like 2008. It literally was called Soldier Boy.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
I did not think, you probably never thought on your podcast you get a Soldier Boy reference.
Oh, yeah, good call. Yeah, I never thought that. And the big showdown turned out to be disappointing. Yes, yeah.
I liked it as much as the other season, to be honest with you. One of the, trying to avoid too big of a spoiler, but some of the characters that got killed off surprised me.
Okay.
Yeah. And I will also say, just before the third season, I finally went to read the comics that The Boys were based upon.
Yes.
And I have to say, had I read the comics first, I probably wouldn't have given the show the time of day. I found the comics. Did you read the comics?
No, but yeah, I was considering it.
I found the comics to be all about shock value, whereas the show does have the shock value, like that opening scene with the party in season 3. What happens there? So it's Zane. But so the show still has the shock value, but they also have bigger themes going on, and they like to tie it into what's happening in the current world. Like they had the whole, obviously, Fox News sort of scenario on The Boys this season, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you feel for the characters are more developed on the TV show than they ever were in the comics too. So I really enjoyed that part of it. And I liked that part to see Butcher's sort of arc in the third season as well, when he finally got a little bit of humanity back towards.
And now, okay, again, spoiler, now we know that time is running out for him.
Yes.
So maybe that will be a factor for next season. I think there are 2 seasons left, I think.
Just one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just one they've confirmed. And the writer of it said in an interview I read this week that will only come back to write the last season if he can kill off Homelander, because he feels that's the only point of the show. You can't continue
I read that part. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And also, I hate the kid already. and I was quite annoyed, to be honest. I mean, I expected him to get a bigger part because of his superpowers.
Right.
But I'm still annoyed that he will be a big part of season 4.
And clearly he will, with
yes.
that little thing at the very end.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is it you don't like about him? The character or the acting or what?
I mean, kids in movies usually annoy me. because because you know that the plot will revolve around them at some point, and usually it rarely goes in a direction that I enjoy.
Yeah.
You know?
It's interesting to me that a lot of your points that you're making about this season of The Boys
Mhm.
are the same points that I'll be making about another one of my shows
Okay.
picks for this episode as well. But very similar feelings, only I'm onto a different show than you are.
Okay, good. Okay, all right, awesome. So yeah, I mean, I'm still in for the next season, but yeah, kind of a slight disappointment.
Right.
Okay, so back to you, John. What else do you have?
I guess that's the segue into mine. I'll go with Stranger Things season 4. And like you, this has been my least favorite season. Like your feelings on The Boys, I should say. It's been my least favorite season. I enjoyed it, but I had to say, had I not appreciated the characters based on how they were developed in the first 3 seasons, this season wouldn't have done it for me. It was very plot driven. So, I mean, on that note, it was faster. But I'm starting to find the plot very convoluted. And I found an interview this week with the Duffer brothers who do the shows, and they said they had it all mapped out when they first started. They had it all mapped out for 5 seasons. And I find that very hard to believe, because I find this season very disconnected from the first seasons. Like, there was no mention that this Henry character, the villain in this season, there's no mention, no reference, no nothing, no hints of him coming anywhere before now. And to me, thinking, really, if you had all this planned out before, we would have had some sense of this. Like, I'm not buying that at all. And I'm finding some of the acting. Okay, so I find it really hard to knock kids for acting, but now that she's old enough, Millie Bobby Brown drives me nuts as 11. She was good when she was first came on the show and she didn't have speaking parts, but oh my god, now that she's an adult, I can say it, I don't like her acting at all. There's some good acting in the show, but there's some bad ones too. Winona Ryder's not great in it, but
she was okay in the first season, I thought.
Winona Ryder?
Yeah. Well, I mean, didn't mind.
Yeah, she doesn't ruin the show for me. Don't get me wrong, but and I still enjoyed the 4th season. But had I not had the first 3 seasons as a foundation, this season wouldn't have done it for me. Good music, good look of the thing, but very convoluted. Way too many characters at this point. And are you Stranger Things fans?
I checked out after season 1.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was more of when an homage turns into almost plagiarism, that's when I'm out.
Yeah. And there was still a lot of that. That's the shtick, right? Yeah, there's a lot of 80s horror references and sci-fi references sprinkled throughout this whole thing.
Nick, what about you?
I've never watched an episode of Stranger Things. It's one of those shows where when it's debuted 6 years ago, I was so busy working and juggling other things that it kind of went past me. But I will get to it at some point, because everyone I know asks if I watched that show. I get horrified when I tell them I haven't. Especially because Kate Bush is now back in the public eye because of her song being featured on the show. So anything to support Kate Bush, as Mutford does, always gets my support. So
she's making a mint up this season. Metallica is back in the charts, even with Master of Puppets, because of that.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's another
because it's used in the show.
Well, even though I checked out after season 1, I still aware of what's going on, because it's so
the cultural milestone sort of thing.
It's kind of like ubiquitous right now, or like it's kind of like of the moment. Like it's almost like Seinfeld or Friends or one of those shows where a lot of people watch it.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna stay.
I'll see it through until the end, for just as a completionist thing. But this season really didn't do a whole lot for me.
But like as a cultural thing, I don't think it's gonna have the lasting impact that the other series you mentioned have.
Oh no, because those are the greatest shows ever, Patrick.
Yes. No, I agree. I agree. Like
shows in my day were better.
Those shows in the 90s, those were the best days of television, I tell you.
But I mean, honestly, recently there probably has been a show that will have a lasting impact for future decades. But which one would it be?
Like of the current moment?
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like iconic level?
Yes. I was going to say Game of Thrones was on that way, except for the last 2 seasons were kind of poor.
I think that is a good answer, though, because like that was another show that people watched. But to me, one of the best shows that I don't know if it's like iconic. I think it's iconic is Succession. Like that's such a wonderful show. But like that's one that's currently on that I could see because it gets better. And like, have you guys watched it?
No, but I feel because this was nominated for like almost every category at the Emmys, so I kind of feel now that okay, I got to see what this is all about. Seems to be the big it show.
Oh, Mutford, like it's amazing. Like I literally bitched it in like I think like 2 weeks, the 3 seasons, because it was just so good. Like, and I'm not like that with TV. Like it's very rare because they're like an hour to an hour and like 10 minutes each episode, give or take. But Succession, it's everything.
I watched the first season and it was it's awesome, but I stopped watching because how can I say, like rich people being assholes to regular people, it just makes me mad, so I had to stop. But it's an excellent show.
I like watching rich people be assholes because I kind of expect them to be assholes.
Yeah, but like I can just go into the regular world to see that. I don't need to see that on TV on top of it.
And it's very funny.
I'm okay with it if they don't glorify that. I'm fine with it. Like in Squid Games, you have the same sort of thing going on, but I mean, clearly they're villains, right? You don't root for the rich people. But if it's what's that show that? Oh, Simple Life. Remember that way back with Paris Hilton and them? And basically the joke was how they would go to a farm and make fun of how everyone was Hicks, right? That sort of stuff drives me nuts.
Okay.
But I mean, that's another iconic show. No joking.
Boo.
It was written in the stars. I can't believe it took you this long to do that sound recording when I'm around.
I'm slipping. But
no, that show was terrible.
So okay, so that was okay, so I don't even know whose turn it is.
I think it's mine.
Yes, yeah. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, so there's a show that started on HBO Max called Mind Over Murder. Have you guys heard of that show?
I heard of it, yes.
It's like a docu-series, and it's about this murder case of this woman in Nebraska in the mid-'80s, and it's about trying to figure out who did it and the colorful characters of this small town. And yeah, I think they're on their 4th or 5th episode because I think there's like 7 or 8 episodes. But it's really, really good.
Okay.
That's one that I thought was a good one.
All right. Mind Over Murder, and it's on HBO. Okay. My turn then? Okay, I would say This Is Going to Hurt. I don't know if you've heard about that one.
I thought you were warning us about your choice.
That's what I thought too, quite honestly, Mutford.
Both could work. So This Is Going to Hurt. It was released on the BBC in March in the UK, but I think it's on Amazon in the US. I think it was released last month. So yeah, it stars Ben Whishaw. It is a group of junior doctors working in a OBGYN ward in a British public hospital, the NHS, NHS in the UK. And it is a comedy drama / drama. There are really, really funny parts, but the drama parts are heart-wrenching. It is extremely good. Whishaw carries the show. He is just amazing. It is based on a book written in 2017 from Adam Kay. So I know that you asked me about the author of I don't remember what last episode, but this time I did my research and I got the author.
Why don't you remember from last episode? Were you intoxicated or something?
I don't know. I would need to listen to it again to be sure. So, This Is Going to Hurt. 7 episodes, I think. The casting and the acting is also excellent. I recommend it without hesitation. It is really, really good.
Just the 1 season so far?
Yes. I don't know if there will be a second season, to be honest. The BBC is big on limited series, one season deals, which I love because everything is possible.
It that way. The show doesn't go on longer than it needs to, right?
Exactly.
And get stale. So
exactly.
I kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So This Is Going to Hurt on Amazon in the US, BBC in the UK. Check it out. So, John, what do you have next?
Well, I'm going to bring the comic book stuff, right? I always do. Last time I
Sure.
did. So I'm going to bring Ms. Marvel this time, the new Disney Plus superhero one. It's not my favorite one that they've done, but it was fun. It had a really youthful, high-speed energy to it. I enjoyed all the inclusion of Pakistani culture in there, which was just interesting to me, who's not familiar with Pakistani culture or history at all. So that was really interesting. I'm not, as a comic book character, she's never been one of my favorite characters. I never have been crazy about her powers, which are sort of ill-defined. Same thing in this show. They tweaked the powers and the history of her powers from the show, from the comics. So I was looking forward to that. But I don't know if they...
What are her powers? I'm sorry.
Well, in the comics, they were more along the lines of Mr. Fantastic. So she's very stretchy and stuff, right?
Okay.
And I always thought that they sort of ripped him off a little bit too much for that. So I was interested to know that they were going to change that part in the TV show. But now she sort of makes things out of, I don't know if they're crystals or what, that just sort of appear, and she can like jump on them or make a giant fist with them or whatever. It's okay, but...
Is she Mario?
Well, yeah, kind of. If Mario could make his own bricks, then sure. Yeah, I guess maybe they've run out of ideas for good powers. I mean, you've already got characters with strength and speed and flying and all that stuff, so they're sort of grasping now. But other than that, it was a fun show, and I look forward. The actress, Iman Vellani, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right, the lead character, Ms. Marvel, is from Canada, so that was kind of neat to see her, and she does an amazing job for, a newbie.
Okay.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing where they take the character for sure.
There will be a second season?
Don't know about a second season, but the character's going to be in the new Marvel's movie with Brie Larson, like the sequel to Captain Marvel. So she's going to be
the Marvel family.
Yeah, well, basically, yes, yeah.
All right, Nick, what do you have?
I have nothing else. Although I am going to say, though, just on a quick Marvel note, Jamie Dornan is joining the Marvel universe, right, Mutford? I think that was reported earlier this week.
I may have missed that. As which?
I don't know. I'm not I would have to look it up, but that was something that...
Breaking news.
What? Oh, okay. Okay, I thought you were going to say there is something else happening right now.
No, but I thought Nick was breaking. So,
but speaking of Jimmy Dornan, I can mention something that I didn't have on my list.
Oh,
The Tourist.
Sorry,
The Tourist is amazing.
Yes,
you might need to edit some stuff out of here. Wait, so okay. Jamie, what's his last name?
Dornan.
Yeah, and he's from
Ireland, I think.
Ireland. Yep.
No, but you're talking about the guy from the show
The Fall, and he was in 50 Shades of Grey. He is the rich guy.
He was in Belfast.
Okay. Yeah, Belfast. Yes, he was the husband in Belfast.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yes.
I mean, he gets crap, of course, for 50 Shades of Grey, but I mean, I think he's overcome that.
Yeah.
I'm just checking out what he's going to be in. Sorry.
I'm not sure. I don't know if they announced which one he did, but I will say, Patrick, The Tourist is amazing. I loved it.
Yes.
It came out a few months ago. I devoured it.
I think it's on Amazon as well.
I think it was on HBO here in the States.
Oh, you might be right. But no, yeah, The Tourist is really good. Check it out.
Really, really good. And it keeps you on your toes because you don't there's a lot of plot twists and stuff. Yes. Oh, excellent.
Looks like he's going to be in Fantastic Four and probably as Human Torch.
Oh, okay. And who will be Reed Richards?
That hasn't been announced yet.
So he is the only one that we know of?
Well, a lot of people have been always trying to get John Krasinski, and we sort of did. But will they continue on with that? We don't know, right? So,
all right. Okay, so I got two other recommendations from TV shows, actually. I can start with The Old Man.
The Old Man.
Yeah, The Old Man on Apple TV. Have you heard of that one? It stars Jeff Bridges as a former CIA agent living off the grid. And after killing an intruder who broke into his home, he is forced into hiding, and then his past comes back to haunt him. And it's based on a novel of the same name by Thomas Perry. So again, more research. It is, I mentioned some slow horses last time. Okay, I mentioned that as a spy series. Well, this is another one, but this is more modern based. Although there are lots of flashbacks from Afghanistan, but I don't want to say anything else. It also stars John Lithgow and Amy Brenneman and Alia Shawkat.
Oh, from Arrested Development.
Yes, yep. And I gotta say,
she's great.
Yes, and in this show, she is gorgeous. She is like lovely, honestly. Yeah, I had to say that. And also we see some old man fighting because Jeff Bridges gets to kick a few asses in an early episode. So it's pretty awesome. And the last few episodes, because this is still going on, I think the next to last episode is tonight, July 14th. The last few episodes have been less actiony, more talky, but still excellent overall. I think the first season is 8 episodes, and I think it will be renewed for at least one more season. It's really good, honestly, good. I really enjoy it. Okay, so John, what do you have?
Well, one that you said last time we were on your show that you were looking forward to seeing, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay.
So, did you end up watching it?
I watched the first episode.
Didn't do anything for you?
And that was more than enough for me. Oh my God. I thought like Obi-Wan Kenobi is probably maybe the third most important character in the entire Star Wars universe. I thought he deserved so much more than that. Like they turned him into a blabbering fool almost. I hated the first episode and the chase when they chase Princess Leia in the woods. That was fucking amateur hour. What the fuck is that?
They're bumbling all around.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, like, how much? Like, if it was like, cable TV with zero budget and zero resources, I could have said, okay, they had only one take or they had like 10 minutes left of daylight or something. But a Star Wars show putting out that crap,
right.
I was like, no. And I kept track of the following episodes, and apparently it got better near the end. But I was like, yeah, no.
The scenes with Darth Vader were really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's like 10 minutes out of 6 hours.
I still enjoyed it. I think I said this last time. I wasn't a giant Star Wars movie fan, and I actually kind of think I like the TV shows more than the movies. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
Which I know is an unpopular opinion. But I didn't mind the show. I thought the young actress that they have for Princess Leia shockingly nailed Carrie Fisher's acting as a little kid, which is bizarre to me that she could do that. Because she's, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old. She can't be much older than that.
I think in the show she was 10, I think. But in
really?
real life, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, she was great. But I can see what you're saying about that first episode for sure. But I think it did get better as it went along. But I mean, ultimately, it didn't have giant stakes because you know where it fits in the Star Wars canon. So you know all the things that had ramifications. Right now, they're just plugging holes and, like you said last time, making cash grabs, right?
Yes.
So they found a little bit of a story in there, but it was still not essential to the bigger picture.
And I don't understand, like, you want to hook people up with, not hook people up, but like, you want to hook people in with the first episode of a series, and
right.
They came up with that. Oh, this is inexcusable.
I just laughed because I don't think Star Wars and hookup has ever been the same sentence.
Good point. But actually, speaking of Obi-Wan, there is this thing out there. You guys are familiar with fan edits?
Yes.
There is one that apparently is really, really good. I think it's called the Patterson edit or the Patterson cut. If you Google it, you will find a link to it. The guy turned the series into a 2 hour and 25 minutes movie.
The Obi-Wan?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he even changed the music in a few scenes. And he trimmed down a few action scenes as well to make it, flow better and more. It gave the idea that the people who did them knew what they were doing more.
Right.
And and I'm actually curious to see that cut.
I would like to watch it to compare. Now, you wouldn't have bit to compare because you bail after the first episode. But yeah, I wonder still if it would hold any appeal to you. Yeah, interesting.
So Nick, do you have any like honorable mentions?
For TV? No, that was pretty much all I watched
Okay.
over the last month or so.
Okay, because I don't want to like take over the conversation or anything, but I do have one last recommendation, and it might be my favorite show so far this year. It's called The Bear.
Oh, I've heard about
that's
that.
with the chef. I've heard a lot of good things about that.
Yes.
Yeah. I definitely want to see that.
I don't think it's available in Canada yet.
Yet you live in Canada. How does that happen?
Well, tactical acquisition. But in the US, it's on Hulu, I think.
Yes.
It stars Jeremy Allen White from Shameless, I think. You could call it, uncut gems with Adam Sandler. So you could call yes, uncut food, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like the pace and the editing is frantic, but it doesn't go overboard because Uncut Gems, I had to bail after 20 minutes because I couldn't take it anymore. But this one, The Bear, it finds the right balance, I guess.
Definitely looking forward to watching that.
It is amazing. And I was like 2 weeks ago, I had a really bad cold and something I never do. I binged the entire series in one day.
Oh, so Nick, since you have a cold, you have a perfect recommendation.
I know. I got a Bear. Is the entire season already available?
Yes, as far as I know, yes.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I
Googled bears and I found some videos.
Depending on what you get for the results, Mutford, that's on you. We type in bears.
Yeah, uncut bears.
Make sure your internet browser security thing is working. That's all I'm going to say.
Parental control or whatever. So yeah, it's The Bear on Hulu. It is really amazing. And each episode, I think it's 8 episodes total. I don't know if there will be a season 2, but each episode is less than half an hour.
Oh, I think it's renewed for a second season because I was actually ironically reading up about the show this afternoon. So,
okay.
Yeah, there's going to be a season 2.
Based on how much buzz it's gotten too, I'd have been shocked if it didn't get picked up for a second.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, that's my recommendations. Also, like honorable mentions, maybe, and something to avoid as well. Okay, so honorable mentions: Reacher on Amazon, good fun, easy to binge. What else? Outer Range with Josh Brolin and Lily Taylor, I think, and what's her name? Imogen Poots, is that her name? She was in Green Room. But yeah, it's got a Twin Peaks vibe. I think it's on Amazon as well. It's really good. Honestly, it's and I wouldn't be surprised if there were a second season. And one to avoid, The Terminal List.
I wanted to watch that.
No, it sucks.
It sucks.
Really?
Yeah. I read the book. The book is, it's fine. It's like an easy read. But I mean, Chris Pratt as an action badass, I don't buy it. I didn't with the other stuff. Tomorrow War, I think.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. And when he tries to like emote and act intense, no, I'm out. So yeah.
Stick the comedy.
Yeah, actually, yeah. But so Nick, your mission is to skip The Terminal List and watch The Bear instead. You will thank me.
Oh, I will, but I probably will watch both.
Okay. But actually, okay, I'll be fair. If I remember, because I'm not done with the entire thing on The Terminal List, the action scenes are good, but it could have been, I think it's 8 episodes. It could have been half that easily.
Oh, does it drag?
I had the feeling that it did, yes. And also, it's also got Taylor Kitsch in it.
Isn't Constantine Wu in it too?
Yes. She's the journalist, yes. And Taylor Kitsch just outshines Pratt in every scene he's in. It's not even close.
Oh, wow. And I really like Chris Pratt. Like, I think he's a good lead man. That's interesting.
I mean, I didn't see it. Maybe he is, but I didn't see it.
He just makes his money off those Jurassic Park movies.
Oh my God. Yes. So that's another...
That's another topic.
Yes.
Speaking of dinosaurs.
And yes, exactly, entirely. Okay, so yeah, that's it for TV for me. You guys are good? Oh yeah, sorry, John. Do you have anything else on that?
Well, I won't say an honorable mention, but I will say one that I'll probably, if you have us on again for another episode of this one, or what we watched.
Sure.
Currently watching the second season of Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, I want to watch that, but when it gets closer to the end.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I didn't bring it up in my top 5, because it's not done it yet, right? But so far it's as good as the first season. So
I loved the first season. It was so breezy. It was a lot of fun.
It's got a really cool, funky, jazzy vibe to it too that I like.
And plus Steve Martin and Martin Short together, it's always.
And I'm not a big Martin Short fan, but he's calming it. I know, a bad Canadian.
He's Canadian, Mutford.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
I find sometimes he can overdo his thing. He tames it down a lot, I think, for this show, and doesn't let his quirkiness get in the way of the story. So I appreciate him in this for sure.
Yeah, he just he's amazing, but also Steve Martin's always amazing to see Steve Martin.
All right, so that's TV for you. Okay, so we can switch to movies. We can start with Nick this time. What do you have?
So the only movie I saw in theaters this entire time was Elvis. Have either of you seen the Elvis movie?
It's on my list as well.
Oh, nice. Let's talk about it then together. I really enjoyed it. I saw it a Thursday night after work, and I always liked Elvis. I mean, he's an icon in every sense of the word, and his music is so part of our culture and the influence. And Buzz Luhrmann is one of those filmmakers where he's very polarizing, right? Because his style can be off-putting because it's so high energy, and it's almost like the best way I always frame it is like someone who has ADHD and like they just don't know when to stop. You're trying to like calm them down a little. But I mean, I think when it's the right material, I think he's excellent. Like I really like The Great Gatsby and like Moulin Rouge, and those are some of his only movies because Strictly
Australia, he had to, and Romeo
and Juliet. Mm-hmm. Is it Strictly Bedroom or Ballroom? Ballroom. That's yes. Strictly Bedroom. That's like that's like the Cinemax version.
Uncut Bears.
Uncut Bears, like a double feature. Uncut Bears and Strictly Bedroom. But no, Elvis was excellent. Austin Butler is amazing as Elvis. Like he should definitely get an Oscar nomination. And also Tom Hanks should get a Razzie because he was terrible as Colonel Parker.
I've heard that thought too about him. But to me, he's like, okay, so Moulin Rouge. Remember John Leguizamo's character was really over the top. Yeah, and I kind of found he was playing a very Baz Luhrmann character, Tom Hanks was. So I didn't mind it as much in that regard. But I...
sorry, do you mean Romeo and Juliet or Moulin Rouge?
Moulin Rouge.
Oh, okay, I don't remember that part at all. Okay.
He was Toulouse-Lautrec.
Okay, I don't remember. Okay, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so I know Hank's performance in that was very polarizing too. To me, the movie, like I love Baz Luhrmann's really frenetic style. When he goes batshit crazy is when I like him most. It's all eye candy and visuals and good music, right? And definitely a theater type movie. I actually think he could have done more in that regard in Elvis, because he seemed to start off that way and then sort of slowed that pace down throughout the movie. And I would have wanted that the whole way through, quite frankly. I still enjoyed the movie, don't get me wrong. And I felt the story focused a little more on Tom Parker than on Elvis, to the point where I really feel it was more of a biopic on Tom Parker than
he's the narrator
Elvis.
Of the story, too.
But, I mean, you're not going to sell tickets by calling it Tom Parker. Elvis, right?
People will say, who?
Yeah.
Well, Colonel Parker is like a terrible person in so many, as the movie illustrates so well. And I agree. I thought, works well with Baz Luhrmann doing Elvis because Elvis had a very crazy life. Like they'd even touch on like him meeting Nixon in the White House, or like there's certain things that you could easily put in just for the zaniness and craziness. But I thought it overall was really great. And yeah, you're right. It is one of those movies, like, I'm glad I saw it in a theater because it definitely enhances the experience and elevates it, at least for me. But I know some people like really did not like it, and I was like, it's okay. Like, you don't have to like everything. But
no, that's right. But I did enjoy the movie too, yeah.
All right. Okay, so my list of movies, I guess I for some reason I was focusing more on TV shows over the past couple of weeks. I think I only saw one movie that I really liked. Everything else was like either like really meh or didn't like at all. So I'll talk about the one I enjoyed first. It was Crimes of the Future, the David Cronenberg movie with yeah, it's
Oh, I want to see that too.
I mean, I loved it. It's a how can I say? Okay, first it stars Viggo Mortensen, Lea Seydoux, and Kristen Stewart. It's a the best way
Body horror, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. The best way to describe it would be like Cronenberg going back to his old hunting ground, I guess,
Right. Yeah.
And he is in fine form there. The visuals, it's got a bit of what's his name, H.G. Geiger in it as well, and the visuals in the movie and the tech it uses as well. It's an odd mix of old and new. It is surprisingly funny as well.
Ah, okay. That's
And
something I haven't heard in reviews about it.
yeah, Kristen Stewart I thought was amazing because she's super like not twitchy but super neurotic almost, and no, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Can't wait to see it. Maybe the next time you have me on, I'll
Sure.
I'll
Yeah,
talk about that one.
no problem.
I keep inviting myself back, right? Like I'm desperate.
No
Please have me
problem
back.
at all.
No one talks to me.
I'm just like waiting for the email. You're not invited back.
Right.
I'm joking.
No problem at all. So, since it will be your last appearance on the show, John, you can go next.
Come on. I gave you Uncut Bears. That's cool. I will go with get the Marvel one out of the way. The Marvel Thor Love and Thunder.
Mhm.
Again, that one's got mixed reviews on it as well. A lot of people I didn't love it. It's not my favorite Marvel movie, and Thor has never been my favorite character by any stretch. But a lot of people seem to think Taika Waititi let the jokes get in the way of the story, which I kind of thought about Ragnarok, I'll be perfectly honest. I still enjoyed Ragnarok, and it was still my favorite Thor movie, but I still think he played the character a little too light and made him too much like of a bro.
Okay.
And he did the same thing in this movie, so I don't know why people felt it was such a letdown after the last one. It was more of a continuation of the last. So it was a lot of fun. And when you talked about an actor, Nick, going into the Marvel world, I won't give anything away except for one of the end credits. There's somebody from a very popular TV show right now that was introduced as a Marvel character that's going to be in upcoming Marvel movies, which was quite a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I think I know who you mean, and I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah. And that's who I thought first that Nick was referring to. But
yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. It makes sense now. Okay. All right, so Nick?
What have I watched lately? I watched Respect on Amazon. It was the Aretha Franklin biopic. I watched that last week. I'll be honest, it didn't get any real award buzz like last year, and I wasn't sure what to think of it. Overall, I thought it was like a mixed bag. I didn't really, I don't know, there was some kind of disconnect between telling Aretha Franklin's life story to just like, I don't know, the movie just seemed very overlong. It seemed very paint by numbers. And I'm a person, like you guys know, I like music biopics. Like that's some of the things I've watched the most of. But it just seemed very paint by numbers. And yeah, it just didn't feel like she was getting her due as a biopic subject. I don't know. And it's weird because Jennifer Hudson is really good as Aretha Franklin. She does do a good job. And I actually saw Jennifer at the Rock Hall ceremony last year because when Carole King was inducted, Carole King wrote a song for that movie, like an original song, and Jennifer Hudson performed You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman because I was a hit for Aretha, but also later on for King herself. And she sounded really great live. Like I was very surprised, like at how good she sang live. But the movie itself, it kind of didn't really do much for me. And I was so disappointed because I thought I was going to like it a lot more. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
Lackluster?
Yeah, it was very boring at times. It's weird because I don't know, but I do appreciate music biopics that try to only tell certain parts of a person's life because it's so grandiose to have like from essentially cradle to grave. And I do like that they kind of start and end at a certain point in her career. Like it kind of that I did appreciate, but yeah, it was just a mixed bag. I didn't really know what. I was just so disappointed by it. I'm not giving the film respect, I guess.
Uh-huh.
See, I did that just for that.
Well done. Well played.
I know my audience.
And I'm getting predictable. All right. So one I saw that I liked, I think it went pretty much unnoticed. It's called The Outfit. It stars Mark Rylance.
Oh, I wanted to see that.
Not heard of it.
Mark Rylance is a tailor in Chicago. And okay, I'm not going to say any. Maybe I should say more, but I'm not going to say anything more. Something happens. Someone comes into his shop, and then things happen. You could think it's a theater play because everything happens in that shop, in that tailor shop, but it's not apparently. But it was shot in March 2021, so it tells me that it might have been a COVID shoot, like with as few actors as possible. But it really feels like a theater play, and it's all acting. And Mark Rylance is pretty much always at least very good, I think. Turned out to be a pleasant surprise. So yeah, The Outfit.
What genre of movie is it?
Maybe a crime drama, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 1950s because at some point Mark Rylance mentions the war, and someone asks him a question about it, and then Rylance says, "Oh no, the other war, like the First World War." So it was in the 50s, I suppose. But no, yeah, it's worth a look. It's good.
It's on Peacock too because they advertised the holy hell out of that movie.
Okay,
so that's partly why I want to watch it because like every time I watch something on Peacock, they always have like that movie or that cartoon, The Bad Guys, or whatever they're peddling this month or next month. But it did look really good.
Yeah, it's worth a shot. All right, so John.
Okay, my next three movies are all going to be horror because I love horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm shocked.
Horror and superheroes. That's what you get with me. I'll go with Umma, which before it was mentioned in the movie, I thought I saw the title Umma. I thought it was Uma, but they were pronouncing it, I think, as Umma in the movie. That stars Sandra Oh and Dermot Mulroney, and it's based on a second-generation Korean woman who had some sort of traumatic incident with her mother, and her mother's ashes get delivered to her and sort of start possessing her. Well, there were a lot of good things about it. The acting was good. The premise itself was good. I felt there didn't quite live up to the potential in the scares and the ending. The resolution came sort of quick and it was anticlimactic, but still a lot of good things going for it.
All right. Nick, do you have something in mind?
Well, I did watch, it came out a few years ago, but it was really good, was Palm Springs. Did you guys watch that with Andy Samberg?
I heard of it, I think.
It's basically about him, like, the best way to describe it's like Groundhog Day, but it has to do with like amnesia. It's really fascinating. It's like this like romantic comedy, science fiction blend, and it's at this I guess like a resort in somewhere in Palm Springs.
Of course.
I was like thinking where in California is it? It's like literally in the title. I was really interested, and I think like for me, because part of like my research in college was mainly on romantic comedies, it's kind of hard for movies of that genre to kind of feel like it's like innovative or like doing something different, and I felt like that movie did. So it's on Hulu, and I really, really enjoyed it.
All right. Okay, my turn. Everything else on my list is very average, let's say. So I'm thinking about doing like all four of them in one go. What do you say?
Show. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So first, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. I didn't laugh once. I didn't
Really?
No, I didn't like it at all, and I enjoyed the previous one, the Do America. I liked it,
Right.
but I don't know. Maybe I was in a bad mood that day or something. I didn't enjoy it at all. Not sure.
I said really like I was surprised, and not because I've seen it and thought it was funny. It's just not once for Beavis and Butthead is disappointing.
Yeah, because I think the reviews are okay. Like it's not apparently it's fine, but yeah, I'm getting old or something. Yeah, I didn't enjoy it at all.
You don't find Cornholio very funny?
I used to, I guess. But no, yeah, maybe I should give it another chance, but I don't know. I watched something else on Netflix called Spiderhead with Chris Hemsworth and Miles Teller. Okay, Miles Teller is part of a rehabilitation program involving experimental drugs, and Chris Hemsworth is the CEO of that pharmaceutical company responsible for that program, if you like. It's not great, but it's not horrible. I mean, I think the first half is a lot more interesting than the second one. It had potential, but I thought it fizzled out at the end, I guess.
Sort of like Uma for me then. It didn't stick the landing, right?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. And okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep the last two for my next turn.
Sure.
So, John, go ahead.
I'll go with Black Phone, the horror movie that's based on the short story by Joe Hill, who's Stephen King's son. Mm-hmm. And you could watch this and swear it was a Stephen King book or story. He writes very much like his father. And it sort of it's set in the 70s, so it has this sort of retro vibe that everyone seems to be liking with Stranger Things and that sort of thing right now. Ethan Hawke is the villain who wears the mask in the posters, and he chooses scenery. He does such a fun job in this.
Okay. Now,
I wondered how they were going to adapt it from a short story. The short story is maybe 10 pages, and to drag that out into a whole movie. If memory serves, they pulled little bits from other short stories that were in the collection that Joe Hill wrote. Mm-hmm. And plot-wise and story-wise, it mostly worked together. There was a couple things that I have minor little plot problems with the movie that didn't quite work, but otherwise, yeah, the acting is mostly good, especially with Ethan Hawke and the main kid who he kidnaps. Mason Thames, I think his name was, and it was directed by Scott Derrickson.
Yes.
Yeah. But a lot of good things about this movie. I would definitely watch another Joe Hill directed by Scott Derrickson movie based on this. Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Nick?
In terms of like recent movies that I've seen I would recommend, I watched Ben is Back. That was on Netflix, and that's with Julia Roberts and Lucas Hodges. That came out about 3 years ago or so. It's about him coming home from rehab, like on Christmas break, and basically trying to at least correct a lot of his mistakes because, he's addicted to painkillers. Like, I went into the movie with like very little expectations, and I really thought it was really great. And, it's always great to see Julia Roberts in a movie. Like, I haven't really followed her career in the last 5 to 10 years as closely. But Lucas Hodges is also great. He was Oscar nominated, of course, in Manchester by the Sea, which is, I think, one of my favorite movies of the last decade. I just how about a movie that like rips your heart out? Like, just it's so emotionally driven, but so beautiful at the same time. That's a movie that I recommended. And I actually just watched on Netflix again, which is funny because I really never watch movies at Netflix, and all my recommendations are coming from Netflix. Was Miss Americana. That's with Taylor Swift, or about Taylor Swift. That was one definitely worth checking out. It kind of gives like a brief overview of her life and career, but it really focuses on her time from 2018 to 2019. Yeah, she's one of our best entertainers, and I think she's just a fascinating person. And I think part of this because I'm the same age as her, so it makes me think to myself, wow, I've really done nothing in my life compared to her. But no, she's incredible. You got to see like her creative process and her kind of maturing as an artist, but also kind of taking more of like a political stance and social stance that she really didn't do, at least in the early part of her career. But that's a really wonderful documentary too. It's only like 80 minutes, so I love the shorter stuff.
Patrick invited you on the show, not Taylor Swift. So, hey.
Hey, don't diss Tay-Tay because her fans are crazy, Mutford.
They will hunt you down.
Like between her fans and the Beyonce fans, like, oh no, you don't like. There's certain days of life you don't mess with. And two fan bases I never won, but they're both amazing women now.
Noted. All right, so my last two, I think both are from A24.
I like that studio.
Yeah, me too. But this time, both were. I mean, okay, one of them was okay, but the other, despite all the positive things I've heard about it, I didn't like at all. So, without further ado, the one I kind of liked, but the end lost me, was Man from Alex Garland.
Oh, I wanted to see that. Yeah, that's disappointing that it's...
Well, I mean, I'm tempted to say don't listen to me and watch it anyway. No, yeah, you should watch it, and because it wasn't bad, but I just thought the ending was like almost too what the fuck for me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, yeah. Because the first part is it's creepy and weird, and it stars Jessie Buckley, I think her name is, and the guy is Rory Kinnear. I think he was in the Daniel Craig James Bond movies. I'd say give it a shot. Yeah, maybe I wasn't in the right mindset for it or something, but yeah, the ending lost me.
Poster intrigued me. And I'm always big on movie posters, like to sell you. And Alex Garland's really a great filmmaker because he did one of my favorite movies, which was Ex Machina.
Yes, Ex Machina and Annihilation, which I thought was great.
Yeah, I like that too, yeah.
Even though many people didn't like it, but no, yeah, usually. And I was surprised that I should have liked it more, but I didn't.
That's when I'm going to wait until it goes on to like HBO or Hulu or is it streaming?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's streaming. It's available now, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. Because he's really talented.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I think he wrote it as well. Okay, so, and the other one that I didn't like, and I was surprised, was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
You're like the only person, because everyone keeps asking me why I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Because it's not playing near me.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah.
I have the download code for that on my desk right now, planning on watching that. Okay. So it's interesting you didn't like it.
It's not really a spoiler, but involved multiverses.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know, maybe I wasn't in the right mood for it, but no, yeah, at some point I lost interest completely. And I don't know.
These are two on my to-watch list, Patrick. You're killing me here.
No, yeah. I was surprised I didn't like either of them more. I mean, they both should have been right in my wheelhouse, but for some reason.
Okay.
It feels like one of those movies that like everyone seems to love or hate, but it's like it's one or the other. Like there's no middle ground, because even on like Letterboxd, that's like a 4.5, which is like amazingly high for Letterboxd. Like, I'm intrigued by it.
Maybe I should give it another chance, but I don't know. You know, I mean, I wish I could argue my stance better, but I can't.
There was a lot of buzz about it after the last Doctor Strange movie came out, because they were saying, for a better multiverse idea and movie, watch this one. So everybody was sort of recommending that one at the time.
Okay.
So that's how it crossed my radar, but it's very disappointing to hear.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed, but like now I kind of want to watch it even more now.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't let me stop you, please watch it.
Too late. You ruined it for me. It's done.
No, yeah, I'm curious to have your opinion about it, honestly. Okay. Maybe I don't know, maybe I wasn't feeling it that day. Yeah,
could be possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's it for me when it comes to movies. John, do you have something else?
Yeah, last one I'll do is a horror movie called Dashcam. Very low budget, I will say. It's directed by a guy named Rob Savage. And you were talking about that movie where it was all set in the apartment, where you think it might be filmed during COVID or whatever. This one was filmed during COVID, and COVID is part of the plot of it. Okay. So the plot of it is this woman has a YouTube or TikTok sort of channel, and she's going to go visit her bandmate or ex-bandmate she's from the States and goes to Europe, I think, is where it's set. I could be wrong on that now. It's been a while. But because of COVID, she's gone off the deep end into conspiracy theories, and she's right-wing and stuff. And so if you read reviews on it, a lot of people hate the movie because she's so abrasive and annoying. And she is. She's totally like a horrible person. So, but she's your central character, right? So it's hard to root for her, but does have an interesting premise, and because she ends up picking up somebody in her car and stuff that goes batshit crazy. So I won't say found footage, but sort of that vibe, because it's a lot of it happens live on her streaming channel, right?
Okay.
But yeah, you have to go into it knowing that you're not going to like the lead character. If you like the lead character, then I don't want to know you.
That bad, huh?
Yeah. But it's a decent little horror movie for sure.
Okay. I think that covers it for movies, unless, Nick, did you have something else in mind? Or
Okay, so I did want to say a quick shout out to a movie that came out many years ago, and I'm so sad that I watched until now, was Paddington, like the bear, because Ben Whishaw, like, I think that's how you pronounce his name?
Ben Whishaw.
Yeah, he's the voice of Paddington. It was just such a cute family comedy that, you could see why people like it both as adults and children. I don't know, it had a really good balance to it. And it's like one of my biggest oversights was not seeing the 2 Paddington movies. So I'm going to watch the sequel sometime later this month. But yeah, it was just really cute. And I was like, I think I just want to adopt Paddington. He's just so adorable. And like, he means well, and you just want to take care of him. And you're just like, oh, like he's like, but that's your bears. It all circles back to bears, which I didn't really think about until I started talking about Paddington. No,
tell me more.
Uncut Bears featuring Paddington.
Will he be in a raincoat? We shall see.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, exactly. Oh God!
But that was a cute movie, though. I will say.
What a mental picture we got there! Holy shit!
This is what happens when you invite me as a guest. Like these moments like these happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say that what happens when I don't drink. Gets off the rails even more.
Oh my God. Listeners are just like, click off.
They've ruined my childhood. Paddington.
Okay, so yeah, that covers it for TVs and movies. But guys, a few hours before recording tonight, I sent you a question. I wanted to ask you, what was your top 3 favorite opening credits when it comes to TV shows? All right?
Sure.
So, Nick, let's start with you.
So I'm a comedy guy through and through. Like, that's what I watched.
Sorry for interrupting. I got to say, not necessarily the best opening credits, but your favorite.
Oh, no, my favorites.
Yes. Okay, good.
Oh, no, these are all my favorites.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, first one's All in the Family. I think that's one of the best opening credits because it kind of captures what that show was in a nutshell. Like, they sing out a key, Archie and Edith, and then, you kind of say those were the days, like the nostalgia, even though they're in political, social turmoil of what was happening during the height of the Vietnam War and stuff. I just think that All in the Family is one of the best opening credit sequences ever. Just so memorable. And yeah, like, they're not good singers, but that's kind of the point, is that, the other one, because it's a shout out really to my mom and dad, because it's one of their favorite shows, was the Mary Tyler Moore Show. I love that opening sequence. And of course, who can't forget Mary throwing her hat in the air in Minneapolis. And yeah, I love Mary Tyler Moore. The last one is The Simpsons. Mm. The Simpsons has one of the best sequences because it kind of takes you through Springfield. So, and it's through Maggie, really. So it's kind of like, wait, is it through Maggie? No. See, now I'm like, now the cold is kicking in because it's like a show I've seen a billion times.
So before the show started tonight, before Patrick started interviewing us, and we talked about this question a little bit, Nick, you had said you picked one that you were guessing that I also had on my list. Is Simpsons the one you thought?
Yeah.
Okay. I almost did. Had they not started tweaking the opening credits in later seasons where they changed up so much, I might have gone with that as well, but they've tweaked the shit out of it right now, so it's sort of lost its appeal to me. But I get where you're coming from, yeah, and it is a great opening sequence, the original.
Yeah, it's like iconic. That's going to be remembered for generations ahead.
For sure, yeah.
For sure.
I think all three are that I mentioned because everyone remembers those three like very well. And I went comedies because that's like my favorite thing. Like,
and was there one that you hated?
Oh, yes. It's also a comedy. 2.5 Men was the first one I thought of because it's so corny and like, no offense, like to Chuck Lorre, but he can't do opening credits to save his life. Like I like The Big Bang Theory, but like that like annoys me, that opening credit sequence. And I really like that show a lot, but like it's just, I don't know. But 2.5 Men, just no.
Okay. John, what do you have?
So I'll pick a comedy as well. I'll go with Cheers.
Oh,
Whenever the topic of favorite theme songs come up, Cheers is always in my list for that too. Now, I didn't just pick it for that because there's other shows where I love the theme song, but the opening credit sequence is just meh. But Cheers, I always thought had both. Love the theme song, and just with that old timey photos there, they would show at the beginning. I remember loving it as a kid, thinking that one sort of looks like George Wendt, or that one sort of looks like Ted Danson, or whatever. Like they just sort of matched up the pictures well, or your kid's imagination sort of meshed them together because it wasn't them, of course. But yeah, Cheers was one. Sticking with Canada, I went with Kids in the Hall.
Mm-hmm. Yep, good job.
Again, love the song. I love the kids just goofing around in the opening sequence, and also scenes with people on the street and around Toronto or wherever. And love that one. And the last one, I got to do a superhero one. You know, I have to do it. So I'm going to go with Daredevil from Netflix. Just it really fit the vibe of the dark, because it's all like dripping blood or red paint.
Yep.
Yeah, you remember it?
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, and the score is really cool, and again, sort of dark and brooding too. So I love that opening sequence.
I saw Daredevil on a list, best opening credits, and I rewatched it. I liked the visuals, but the music didn't do it for me. Yeah, so
the music doesn't do it for me as much as the visuals. I'll agree, but I do like the score. But I agree, it's not as strong as the visuals.
All right, so. And was there one that you hated?
I couldn't think. I mean, yeah, there's obviously some that I'm just sort of meh about, but there's none that I can feel that I hate, not off the top of my head anyway.
All right. Okay, so my turn.
Yeah.
One, well, comedy, I guess. And when I used to watch that, I never skipped the opening credits. And the music plus the visuals, they always put a smile on my face. It's Jackass.
That's fun.
Oh yeah. The music, like when the music kicks in, and they get, you see them getting kicked in the balls or falling off buildings or something. It works. It was perfect. I thought music was awesome, and not unlike Kids in the Hall. The same. It gave me the same energy, and like some pop in it. I don't know.
Yeah. It matches the mood of the show too, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's the best way to describe it. Okay, so my second one would be try to stay away from the iconic shows. Like the oldies, like All in the Family, for example. I try to stay away from. No, but I mean, it's not a criticism or anything. I just wanted to try.
Those were the days.
I just wanted to try and dig deeper, I suppose. But anyway, so okay, my second one.
Not like Nick's shallow answer.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
That's not what I meant.
I'm kidding.
All right, so my second one would be True Detective Season 1.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that song before, but it worked so well with the visuals and the vibe of the South. I thought it was perfect, absolutely. And the third one, it's I wanted to be more original, but I guess I always came back to that. It was Mad Men.
That is a good opening sequence.
It nails it pretty much.
I've never watched Mad Men, and I even know the opening credits because it's pretty iconic. Yeah.
There you go. And I have a few honorable mentions when it comes to opening credits. Breaking Bad, because it was short and sweet. it doesn't have to last 2 minutes. Breaking Bad was like 10 seconds and let's go.
Yeah.
There's gonna be something good to be said about that. And I mentioned the visuals getting me, but not the music with Daredevil. I would say the same thing about Westworld. The visuals of the opening credits of Westworld are incredible, but music couldn't care for it. And okay, so from my childhood, I would say both. Two, Space 1999. Do you guys know that series?
Never heard it.
Never heard of it.
Okay, wow. It lasted 2 seasons. It starred Martin Landau. And yeah, it was like from the 70s. But yeah, look it up. Space 1999. And they had different opening credits for each season. So different music. And UFO, TV series UFO. I don't know if you remember that. It's British. It's quite old. And so yeah, I'll let you Google it. And one opening credits the one that I hated, Boardwalk Empire.
Oh,
holy shit! Did I hate those credits? Fucking hell! Like visually, it worked perfectly. Like the bottles in the water, it was perfect. But the music, I hated that song. It was like that. The song wouldn't end. Like I know I'm doing a terrible job of describing it, but like the end riff is repeated like 3 times. And I was like, just end already. Fuck. Jesus. So yeah, before we started recording, that's the one I was thinking of. I watched the credits for the first episode of season 1, of course. And I was like, whoa, those credits suck. And okay, so I would skip them, every chance I get. And then I tried again on season 3, I think. And I was like, nope, still shit. And I kept on skipping the rest of the way. But it's a good series, though.
I know it has a lot of fans. I've never seen it. But.
No, it's good. I'd say honorable mention for trying something new, Peacemaker. Have you seen the...
I haven't. No, that's a superhero one, so I should have seen it.
It has one of my favorite people in it, John Cena.
Okay, so
because you know me, I like wrestling, so
yeah, that's true. So yeah, the opening credits on Peacemaker is something else. I'm not gonna say.
Isn't it some like 80s song that they use for it? I don't know. I just know 80s songs are a big part of the show, right? So I assume.
Yeah, but I don't think it's an 80s song, but it sounds like one. So okay. I see where you're coming from.
I haven't seen it, so I'm only guessing here. But yeah,
it's a good show.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah,
you should check it out if you have the chance. Yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
For honorable mentions of ones that I like too. The 2 that we mentioned throughout the episode, I like the opening sequences of Severance and Only Murders in the Building too.
Oh yeah. The one for Severance, the visuals are so creepy.
Yeah, very creepy. Yeah.
God.
Oh, and one that I didn't like occurred to me.
Yeah, please.
the very old, I think from the 60s, but I mean, I was watching it in the 80s when we had nothing else on TV, but the old Hercules cartoon. Do you know this? Like super shitty animation. Okay. And each episode was like 5 minutes, but then they'd have this big song. And one of the lines was, with the strength of 10 ordinary men. And it always bugged the crap out of me that it was 10 ordinary men. 10 strong. But they have him putting on his ring and like punching his way through a mountain. I'm sorry. 10 ordinary men together could not punch their way through a mountain. Why ordinary? They just needed that number of syllables to make it flow.
Jesus. Yeah, I gotta admit, I don't remember that.
Oh, they're on YouTube. They're horrible. They are so horrible. Yet I watched them. So I knew they were horrible even at the time, but I still.
So, guys, was there something else that was worth mentioning?
I like Succession's opening credits too. Like it's really excellent the way that the score for that show is really great, but also like it uses images of like the 3 children's adolescence. It's just really intriguing. That's one that I always look to as like a really good modern opening credits, because a lot of times, I don't know about you guys, I just said skip on opening credits.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe with most of popular TV series now being on streaming services, everyone skips them. So I think it will be very difficult to have an iconic TV song from now on,
Yeah, I agree.
So let's see what the future holds. So, okay, so that covers it, I suppose. Any closing speeches?
I'm just wondering if Mutford's invited back next time. That's kind of like, what I'm more curious about.
I'll talk about whatever you want.
You always have another podcast you could come on, Mutford.
Or start your own.
Or start my own. I'm too cheap to buy a mic.
You can scream into the void as much as you want. So I guess that's it for us. John, where can we find you online?
If you have the dark web, you can find me there.
Dark web.
You can find me on Twitter at bookmindset. I always say .com, at bookmindset.
All right. Mine with an E.
Yes, that's right. Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Nick, what about you?
Okay, you guys can follow me at Nick D. Bambach, and you can follow my podcast, Rockin' Retrospects account, which is at Rockin' Retro Pod.
Well done.
I know. I'm happy that I got it right this time.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, because when you make like Twitter handles, you only get a certain number of characters, so you have to be very cautious. So that's why when I made it last year, I had to be clever so people knew what it was. So we actually just celebrated the 1-year anniversary of the show.
Oh, congrats.
Oh, nice. Well done.
Or actually last week we did. So I got to get to editing a lot of the episodes. It's just been so.
But do you know the character limit for the handles on Twitter? I never thought about that.
I have no idea, but like it was very complicated to think of one. But you want it like when, like, like with your show too, like you want to make sure like if people are looking for it, like it's easily discoverable. But like,
yes,
I thought it was like 20 something. Now I'm genuinely curious.
Would make sense.
15 characters. Yeah.
15. Wow. Okay.
It says 15.
Jesus.
Crazy.
Yeah, because what I wanted to do was have it as short as possible.
Right.
For some reason. But if you try Googling EETF podcast, it always comes up with something called ETF, which is related to finance, I think, which is something completely different.
Oh, I wish. Wait, is this the right Patrick? Because I need financial advice.
No, yeah, I'm not the right guy for that. Believe me.
Everything except the finance.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, everything except the finances.
Exactly. I should rename it that. All right. So thank you guys. I had a great time. I hope you did too.
I did, as always. Thank you.
Oh, yes. It's also a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. Likewise. And thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and we will talk again on the next one. Thanks.